course, when you write a comic book, it's very different. I can't draw, so I have to have somebody else. But it's the same as working together with a director, in a way. But no, it's when you write, the process of writing, as I said earlier, you have to be the character. And it doesn't matter if it's the character is on a stage or on a film set or not on the film set, but on the silver screen. The process of writing is the same.
But in terms of, okay, so the process of writing is the same, but for some reason, you at some point when you've had an idea, you make a choice. You make a choice and you say, this is going to be a piece of theatre or this is going to be a film. What guides that choice?
Well, this is actually a very interesting question, because when I look back, some of the things I've written has swapped for different reasons, actually. It could be that I found it more interesting to see this on a stage, or it can be external things like money.
Of course.
Yeah. Or somebody telling me that, you know, this is much more interesting as a play than as a movie. And I'm find myself saying the same to my students sometimes, because if the students have written a very, you know, a scene in a movie which is very complex dialogue, and sometimes, well, it can be difficult to get that over in a movie because I don't know. It feels like you're more concentrated in a theater when it comes to getting a very good complex dialogue scene over. So then I've said to my students, well, consider this as a, you know, start of a play or something like that. And that's happened to me too. I mean,
but in terms of children's theatre, I mean, because that distinction between, you know, the screen being a visual medium and so, you know, the stories that somehow lend themselves to the more visual aspects of storytelling kind of are drawn towards the screen in a sense, and stories that are more language based are drawn towards theatre. At least for adults, that's kind of perhaps the way, maybe. But I mean, for young audiences, you know, long complex dialogues might not be, you know, suitable in the first place.
No.
So what is theatre for young audiences? What is there anything that separates a story that's suitable or more suitable for the theatre or more suitable for the movie theatre?
Talking about the visual aspect here, it's very common to say what you said now, that when it comes to the visual, you should choose a movie. Well, we have another saying that in the radio theater, the strongest visions are in the radio theater. So, in a way, I'm not. You can have very, very strong visual pictures on stage, in the audience head. I mean, so it's just up to your writing. But I can, of course, I agree that you can't have heavy dialogue theater for children, not for the youngest, and you have to rely on more easy dialogue in a way. But for instance, the Brother Lionheart, I saw that theater 10 years ago, I think, and that's heavy dialogue in that theater, and it's for. I had my children, which was, well, of course, then it was, they were. No, I'm lying. They didn't see this, but I remember there were some of the audience there were under 10 years old, and they really enjoyed it, although they were really scared because it's about death.
In terms of theme, are there any themes that you wouldn't tackle for a young audience?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Well, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I censor myself. But I do that. I don't want my children, my girl, which is she's 9 years old, to see everything. And she is very easy scared. So, and she's afraid of death. And I think it's not taboo, but it's very difficult to talk about. But we should. What's difficult to talk about, we should do. Of course, rape and some extreme violence. And of course, that has to be leveled when you talk about målgruppe, hva er det du kalte det?
Target age group.
When you talk about the target age, you don't make for instance, a play about school massacre for the 6 years old. That would be too heavy, or they don't understand it, or that would be madness in a way. But you can tell the same story if it's important for you that a 6 years old understand this very, very heavy issues. Then you could find a metaphor or find another world or something like that to get them to understand what this is about, or how to, which is even more important for us, how to cope with the parents' paranoia when it comes to all the things that can threaten you as a child.
There's a writer called Lowell Caulfield, and in an interview, so he says that two of the things, or perhaps the two things that most strongly motivates a human being is finance and romance. And I was just wondering if you have any thoughts on this idea of what motivates a young character. Are we still talking about finance and romance? I mean, for the really younger children now, finance and romance are very, important aspects of a teenage life.
Is that another way of saying shopping and fucking?